right, so today's like a good kind of midway point, okay? We've done some of the labs. We've talked about some of the harder concepts and the harder ideas, especially with wave speed. Identifying that wave speed is affected by the properties of the medium, right? Just because it has a certain frequency or just because it has a certain wavelength, those are just properties of that specific wave, okay? That part isn't going to change. So like that's like saying my natural hair color is blonde or I am 5'10". Those are just properties that describe me, right? What makes it harder for me to run really fast is when I start running into the wind. Or if I try to like Baywatch it and run into the ocean through the water, right? You're not going to run very fast, right? I'm not going to get there, okay? Today's though, pretty straightforward, pretty easy, okay? Drawing of the waves though, I will say takes a second. And then once you know how to do it, you're going to be golden. So if I was to construct a wave, okay, on yours it looks like yours came through, mine did not. On the middle, you have that black line. We call that what again? Rest, okay? If I want one wave, that means I have to have a what and a what?
A crest and a trough.
A crest and a trough. And I need to have a crest and a trough in how many units? 8 units, right? So if I start at 0, where would this final point be on a number line? 8. Where's this one where it crosses in the middle? 4. Amplitude happens at what spot? 2. And right here happens at 6, right? But you're right, the actual height, the amplitude then would be 5. So I would need to count up 5. All right, so what you're going to do, you're going to add your dots first, okay? So I'm going to put one dot there, and then I'm going to count out 8 units. Or I know it's going to be crossing at 4. I can put a dot at 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And then halfway between each of those points, I'm going to have my amplitude, which in this one, it's asking for an amplitude of 5. So I'll go halfway between those points and go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I don't want it to look like a pyramid. You know the shape of a pyramid? Don't want a pyramid. I want it to actually look like a wave. So you want yours to actually look like a wave. Like that. Don't make it look like this. Okay? No pointiness there. No pointiness. Make it actually look like a wave. Okay? Now, I understand you guys have this really cool feature on Notability where you can like circle it and just hit copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, right? So if I ask you for 2 or 3 or 4 waves, that means then I would need to continue this one on. Don't do the copy, paste for today. Okay? And the only reason why I say that is because when you take your actual test, you're not going to be able to do copy paste when it's on paper, right? So please, please, please make sure you practice it for today. All right, this one wants 3 waves. So that means I'm going to have a total of 3 crests and a total of 3 troughs. And the wavelength is 4 units. So what I always do is I always draw a wave first so I can figure out where all these points are going to be. So if the wavelength is 4, I start at 0 and I count out how many units? 4. Where's my halfway point? 2. My amplitude is going to be 3, but that happens at what line? 1, because it's halfway between. Halfway between 2 and 4 is 3. So when I draw that, then I have a pretty good idea how to go ahead and add these next lines. So again, I'm going to add my rest because it didn't come through. So I'm going to start right here. Go 1, 2, 1, 2. Halfway between those will be my amplitude. All right, my amplitude is going to be 3. So there's my first wave. Now I can continue this and again just count out exactly like I just did. Start at this point, that's my new 0. And go 1, 2, that's where it's going to cross. 1, 2, that's where it'll finish. Add my height, add my height. And then draw, connect it, my second wave. Now there's another way that I could do this. Could I just go from this tall point, that height right there, that crest, and how many would I need to count over? 4, and then I can put the next dot. And then I can count over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, put a dot. I could do that with the trough too. If I'm right here, count over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, count over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's my trough. I could start right here, count over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start right here, count over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, because it's from the falling, any point on the line will have a wavelength of 4. So when you guys go ahead and you do this on the actual test, I'm going to take a look and I'm going to say, okay, start of one wave to the start of the next wave. Is that 4? If it is, that's good. And then I'll go crest to crest, is that 4? And then trough to trough, is that 4? Sometimes the crest and the trough tends to kind of vary. Okay. All right, if I want a wavelength of 10, help me out. So I'm going to start out and just say, boop, 0, 10. Where's my midway? 5. Where would that one occur at? 2.5. So now I'm going to be halfway between lines. Where would that one happen? 7.5. So now that I have that drawn, now actually going back to my graph paper, it's really easy. I'm going to start here, count over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I want 2 waves, so I'm going to keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that's pretty good. Over 2.5, up 6. So 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Over 2.5, down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 6. And then I can connect. And again, trying to make it look like an actual wave, not super straight lines. Okay. And then I would just repeat. Over 2.5, up 6. Over to 7.5, down 6. And then I would reconnect. Okay. So there are my 2 waves. So I can't stress enough, this part up here is super, super helpful. Okay, at least set yourself up so you know, okay, how many am I counting? Where do I have to move over? Do not put just these 3 points at the start, the middle, and the end and guesstimate somewhere in between for the others, okay? Because then you're going to end up with lines that look like this. I always have lines that look like that. And I'm like, not very periodical, right? It should repeat over and over, okay? All right, questions on how to draw the wave. Is that pretty easy, pretty straightforward? Remember, if I want 2 waves, I need 2 crests and 2 troughs. All right. Reminder, these are just reminder because we are going to do a little calculations today. Frequency, you should know this from your quiz, measured in hertz. Wavelength, meters, centimeters, nanometers. Wave speed, it's a speed, meters per second. And period is symbolized with T, and it's seconds. All right, so you guys know speed, or our wave speed, is frequency times wavelength. We can rearrange that equation to solve for wavelength or frequency, right? The new one for you, though, is this one down below. You guys haven't seen that one just yet. We knew that my frequency and period were inversely related, but we didn't know exactly what the equation was going to be just yet, right? We said if I added more periods in the day, each period had to have been shorter than. So to get frequency, I take 1 over the period. Where I can do period is 1 over frequency. Okay? So let's try to practice ones together. If FM waves travel at a speed of 3 times 10 to the 8th, a station broadcasts with a frequency of 9.19 times 10 to the 7th, what is the wavelength? Well, I'm looking for wavelength. I have frequency, and I have speed. Sorry, it kind of looks like a 5. A speed, or your symbol we use is V. Well, I know V equals frequency times wavelength. Either you can rearrange it initially, or you can just plug in the values and solve. No matter what, though, to get my wavelength, I'm going to have to take speed divided by the frequency. Well, my speed is 3 times 10 to the 8th, and my frequency was 9.19 times 10 to the 7th. You guys are going to need a calculator. In order for this to work out, you need to use parentheses. 3 times 10 to the 8th, so caret 8th, divided by parentheses 9.19 times 10 caret 7, close the parentheses, then hit equals. Okay? If you do not use parentheses, you're going to get the wrong answer. Okay? I'm sure somebody in here can probably tell me you know approximately how much it would be. X to the 8th power divided by x to the 7th power is just going to give me x to the, nice, good job, x to the 1st power. So if you get a value of times 10 to the 15th, that's wrong. Something happened. You need to go ahead, try it again in the calculator. Okay? All right, what did you guys get?
3.26.
Times? Just 3.26?
Yeah.
All right, I like it. All right, anybody else confirm, deny it? Nice. All right, it's a wavelength. Units? Meters. Boom. All right, how about this one? A light wave travels through air at a speed of 3 times 10 to the 8th. Red light has a wavelength of 6.6 times 10 to the negative 7th. What is the frequency? So now we want F. Well, I know wave speed is frequency times wavelength. So I need wave speed divided by wavelength in order to get frequency. So again, this is when you need your calculator, parentheses, 3 times 10 to the 8th, close the parentheses, divided by 6.6 times 10 to the negative 7th. Don't forget the negative sign. All right, anybody think you can get it again? X to the 8th divided by x to the negative 7th. Yeah, it should be x to the 15th. Okay, so I know whatever number I get should be really big. There should be something times approximately times 10 to the 15th. So when you go ahead and you do that, what did you guys get?
I got 4.55 times 10 to the 14th.
There we go. Nice. That's good. We got a big number. A big number. I love it. Now, this is frequency. What would be my units? Hertz. Okay. All right, what do you think?
Fun.
Not too bad? Not too bad? All right, I want to give you guys time so you can work and get started on the actual worksheet. Try to finish up here in class. We got about 15 minutes. I bet you will probably finish it. Okay? So go ahead as you're working. I will have the key up here if you want to check it. And then let me know what questions you run upon, okay?